Hi, everybody. This is Sonia. Thank you for joining me on Truth, Signs, and Fruits of the Spirit on Facebook. I haven't done videos in a while. I haven't done videos since 2020, so forgive me if I'm rusty, okay? But I was thinking about my situation that I've been going through. I've been thinking about my friends, the situations they're going through, and I just feel it's necessary to share this message because it shows that if you stay the course, things can change for better. God will see you through. Even if it's the worst storm you've ever been through, He will help you get through it. So I just want to read a few passages from the book of Job. I'm going to start with chapter 7. This is Job speaking. Um, and then I'm going to move forward to the end of chapter 42 in Job to show you what happened to him, what was the result of his situation. So, Job was a righteous man, as you most likely know if you know the story of Job. And the devil went to God and basically challenged him, saying that if he were to bring misfortune to Job, that Job would curse God. He would lose faith with God. If you were to take away everything that he had, because he had a pretty good life. He had everything good going for him. He had great family, great assets. And the devil was saying, well, if you take away everything, um, he will curse you, you know. He won't see the good and the bad. And God was like, okay, Job is a very faithful servant. Test him, but do not take his life. And that's what the devil did. The devil went and put Job through a lot. But through it all, Job's life was preserved. He lost land, he lost his assets, he lost his children, he lost his servants, he lost his health. Like, he lost a lot. And through it all, he didn't lose faith with God. Um, did he question why he was going through all those things? Yes, he did. He didn't know why he was going through them. But he didn't break faith with God. So, but I do want to show you that he did reach moments of despair that we all can relate to when we reach our most lowest point in our lives. This is something we all can relate to. So I'm facing a court battle with my last roommate. He ditched on me in the middle of the month and took the rent and the security deposit and put my bank account in a deficit. And I have been scrambling ever since to catch up with everything. My electric and my water utilities were going to be shut off, and I had to scramble to come up with the money to keep my lights, my fridge, and my water running, because those are essentials. You can't go without that. I had to scramble to pay off my taxes. So, I did what I had to do, and now I still have to pay rent. Um, Almost 3 months of rent. I still have to go to court. Um, I just I have to keep trying. I have to keep pressing. And I have a lower back injury, so if I'm not careful, my back can go out again. So it's just, when I go about my day, I just, you know, it's really with faith. I it really is a test of faith. And I have another friend who is, she's going through a lot of health issues. One of them is cancer, and I keep her in my prayers daily. Um, and she's found ways to still go through her storm. And I believe that she's not going through it alone. I believe God is on her side, helping her get through it. I have another friend who is, facing a homeless crisis, and he's embattled with his family, with his wife, and he's also in my prayers daily. So we're all going to face afflictions of one kind or another, but it's important to know that you're not alone, and that with God's help, you can get through it. And it's a test of your faith. In there are times when you feel like when you reach rock bottom, you're not going to be able to rise back up, but you can, and you will. The Bible says a just man falls several times but rises up again. Um, every chance that you can, you're going to be able to rise up. And even when you don't get that chance, God will give you that chance. Because God, He can make anything possible. And so, without further ado, I'm going to read these verses from Job. This is him speaking in chapter 7, verse 1. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hireling? As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow, and as a hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be gone? And I am full of tossings to and fro until the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin is broken and become loathsome. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. My eyes shall no more see good. The eye of him that hath seen me shall see me no more. Thine eyes are upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanished away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a whale that thou settest a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my comfort, then thou scarest me with dreams, and terrorest me through visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my life. I loathe it. I would not live away. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man that thou shouldest magnify him, and thou shouldest set thine heart upon him, and that thou shouldest visit him every morning, and try him every moment? How long wilt thou not depart from me, nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? What hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am burdened to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgression, and take away my iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. So Job is, I believe, the second person that I know of in the Bible, other than Elijah, to wish for death, because his situation was just so bad that he didn't want to live anymore. That's how far down, like that was rock bottom for him. He personally desired death because life was just too hard, and he felt his sins were too great. He felt like he failed. He felt like he did something horribly wrong and he couldn't make up for it. And He goes to sleep stressed and just restless. He can't, you know, find a way out of his situation. It's all he thinks about. And he's aware that, you know, his time is short. We all are aware that our time here on earth is short. We can be gone tomorrow. And you know, he compares himself to a hireling. A hireling is a servant or an employee that does very meager work for very meager pay. And we keep our heads down low. We do as we're told. We try and make do, and we try and get by, and we try and make the best out of our situations, even if they're really bad. But sometimes you can't even do that, you know. Um, you're pushed past the brink of being humbled, and you're just broken. And we've all been there. We've all been broken. So Job is speaking from a place of brokenness. He's a very broken man, and so broken that he wishes that he was never born, that he desires death. And so I'm going to skip to the end of the book of Job, to chapter 42. And this is chapter 42, verse 7. I'm going to read from there. And it was so that after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, My wrath is kindled against thee, and against thy two friends, for ye have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job hath. Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, in that ye have not spoken of me the thing which is right, like my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar and Nemathite went. Zophar the Nemathite went, and did according as the Lord commanded them. The Lord also accepted Job, and the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house, and they bemoaned him and comforted him all over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, and 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Jemimah, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Karen Hapuk. In all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died, and being old and full of days. So his friends, they came to comfort him. They sat in silence with him. they went days with him, you know, seeing him suffer. And, you know, at first their intentions were good, but when they were trying to advise him, they were also chastising him. And, you know, uh, their thoughts ended up not being in the right place. Um, and Job was rebuking his friends. He was putting them in their place. And I've been in a situation like that before where I've had friends chastise me in my lowest moment, either not completely understanding what I was going through or thinking it was my fault, or um, just or just accusing me. And I had to let go of some of those friends. But here, God actually gives them a way to redeem themselves, and He has Job pray for his friends. And his friends, they offer up sacrifices, and God accepts, you know, their sin offering. But for my friends, I relinquished our friendships, but I still prayed for them. I prayed for forgiveness. I also prayed for their understanding, for their compassion, um, for, you know, them to see through their I don't know, their confusion or their assumptions, you know, because they just couldn't see my situation for what it was. So anyway, you know, my friend that's going through the cancer, um, not to, you know, put her personal story up without her knowledge, but just to be brief, she had someone very close to her turn against her in her moment of need. And he had no compassion for her. And basically made her illness as if it was her fault. And that's not right. Um, Things happen to people every day. It's not always their fault, and you can't fault them for it, you know. And my other friend that's going through the homeless crisis, that's not his fault either. And you know, it helps to be compassionate, to be understanding, even if there's nothing that you can do for the person, to be able to listen and to be empathetic, to pray for them, and to show that somebody cares. It means a lot to that person, even if you can't physically be there and you're far away, or you don't have the money to assist them, or you don't have the right words. Listening is more times than not the best that you can do for a person that's in need of venting and needing somebody to hear them out. And, you know, I remember a time when I needed someone to hear me out. I actually went to therapy in need of having somebody with fresh ears, and it helped. I went for a year, and it helped. Um, you can pray, and that that can be enough. And if you truly believe God hears your prayers, that can be enough. But for other people that need a person, a physical person to talk to have someone to listen, you know, sometimes that's what they need. And at first, when Job had his three friends come see him and they sat in silence with him, that was literally the best thing they did, was sit in silence and put on put on sackcloth and ashes and sit with him and empathize with him in the moment, you know. um, and you know, I don't think Job said anything for a while. I think he also was quiet for a while. But you know, they listened to him, and that's the best thing that they did for him, was listen. But as soon as they heard him, then they started like creating like reasons why he was in the situation that he was in. Like, you can't assume why people are in the situations that they are in, you know, unless they tell you why. But sometimes that person don't even know why they're in that situation. It could be one of those very vexing situations, and no one knows why they're in it. And you know, not everything can be explained away. It's just a terrible time, terrible place, terrible situation, and the only thing you can do is just get through it. And if you have a very good friend, hopefully they're there to listen and comfort you in your time of need. And hopefully that will be enough. Plus prayers, plus your faith, um, plus trying to do your best to act and resolve the situation, um, following advice and just doing it step by step, even if it's small steps. As long as you're going forward, that's all you need to focus on. And that's the parable, that's the verse in the Bible. A just man falls several times but rises up again. God is going to give you the opportunity to rise up again. Now it's your decision, it's your choice to rise up or stay on the floor. If God has given you a chance to rise up, you got to rise up. God gave us 2 feet. We weren't meant to be on the floor. Jesus showed us that we can walk on water. That's how faith works. When you have faith, you can move mountains. And Jesus said, if your faith was even as small as a mustard seed, it can still be done. That's all you need. That's all you need to get back up. So the story of Job tells us that even in our darkest moments, if we stay the course, God gets us through, and he restores us, and he gives us, he restores us, not just replenishing what we lost, but he increases everything that he puts in our life. Job lived full of days, and this was a man that was wishing for death. This is a man that cursed his birth. He lived to a very old age and saw 4 generations of his family. God did that for him. So you can be at the brink of no return, and you can still make a return. It's possible. God did it with this man called Job. Almost everything was taken from him but his own life. And he was prepared to give up his life because he was so distressed. He was so depressed. He was so lost and just in need of answers, in need of comfort, in need of reassurance that even in his lowest moment, even in his sins, he was still loved. He was still wanted, and he was still significant. He still meant something to God. And we all mean something to God, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you're going through. You still mean a lot to God. God loves you. And when you fall down, don't think God has forgotten about you. Okay? In Jesus' lowest moment, when he was on the cross, on his lowest moment, even he thought God abandoned him. God didn't abandon him. Okay? Always remember that. So that's what I wanted to share. It's 25 minutes. I hope that it's been worth your while watching this video. I don't know if I will do more videos like this. I would like to. I should be able to make more time for it. Um, if you like these type of videos, let me know and I'll make more. Um, I'll try and be a little bit more organized, but today it was on a whim because just a lot of self-reflection and observing other people in their hard times, and I just felt the need to make this video and say what I had to say. I think it's relevant and it might help somebody. So God bless you, and I hope that you have a great Tuesday. Take care.